You are being lied to at the cheese counter, not by accident, not by some small-time corner cutting, by a system that has spent decades engineering a product that looks like cheese, melts like cheese, and costs just as much as cheese. A cake, but is legally not required to contain a single drop of real milk fat the way nature intended. The average American household spends over $50 a month on dairy products. Cheese is the single biggest slice of that budget. And the dirty secret that the industry does not want you to know is that a significant portion of what fills those shelves, the shredded bags, the individually wrapped slices, the artisan blocks, is engineered food masquerading as one of humanity's oldest traditions. I spent 3 weeks auditing every major cheese brand on the shelf to find the truth. I read the fine print on 112 product labels, cross-reference FDA standard of identity regulations, and map the ingredient list against what actual cheese is supposed to contain. And the results were not what I expected. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which 5 products to put back on the shelf, and which 4 are the real thing. The why. How the industry broke cheese. Let us start with the basic truth. Real cheese has 4 ingredients: milk, salt, a starter culture, and rennet, the enzyme that causes the milk to coagulate and form curds. That is it. 4 ingredients that humans have been combining for over 7,000 years. Here is the math reality. To make 1 pound of real cheddar, you need approximately 10 pounds of whole milk. Whole milk costs money. Aging costs time. Time costs warehouse space. Warehouse space costs money. Real cheese, done correctly, is an expensive, slow, logistically demanding product. So what did the food industry do? They found the exits. The first exit is called processed cheese product. The FDA has a tiered labeling system for cheese. At the top is natural cheese, milk, culture, rennet, salt. Below that is pasteurized processed cheese, which can contain emulsifying salts and other cheeses blended together. Below that is pasteurized processed cheese food, which can contain whey, skim milk, and other dairy-derived fillers to reduce the actual cheese content. And at the very bottom is pasteurized processed cheese product, a category so loosely defined that the product only needs to contain a small percentage of actual cheese by weight. The second exit is the cellulose trick, anti-caking agents, most commonly powdered cellulose, which is derived from wood pulp, are added to pre-shredded cheese to prevent clumping. The FDA permits up to 2% cellulose in shredded cheese. Some brands push that limit aggressively. Flip the bag over, read the fine print. Powdered cellulose on a cheese label is your first red flag. The third exit is natamycin, a mold inhibitor sprayed onto the surface of blocks and shreds to extend shelf. Life. It is a pharmaceutical antifungal. It is technically approved for use in food, but real cheese, aged correctly, does not need a pharmaceutical coating to survive 3 weeks in your refrigerator. The ingredient list tells a different story than the marketing does, every single time. It's the skip list, 5 products to put back. Number 1, Kraft Singles. Kraft Singles are the most recognized cheese product in America. They are also one of the most transparent examples of industrial food engineering in the entire dairy aisle. Flip the wrapper. The official name is pasteurized prepared cheese product, not cheese. The FDA specifically prevented Kraft from calling it cheese without the qualifier. The ingredients include milk, water, whey, milk fat, milk protein concentrate, sodium citrate, and a collection of emulsifying and preserving agents. The product is approximately 51% cheese by weight, meaning nearly half of what you are paying for is engineered filler. The marketing shows it melting perfectly over a burger. That melt is not a sign of quality. It is a sign of the emulsifying salts doing exactly what they were engineered to do: create a smooth, plastic-like melt from an inferior base product. You are paying a premium for a logistical magic trick. Number 2, Kraft shredded Mexican blend and most major shredded bags. The shredded cheese category is where cellulose abuse is most rampant. Kraft's shredded blends, Sargento's budget lines, and virtually every store brand shredded cheese contains powdered cellulose, potato starch, or both. These are anti-caking agents, yes, but they also add weight to the bag without adding cheese. The Mexican blend marketing is particularly aggressive. 4 cheeses: cheddar, Monterey Jack, queso quesadilla, asadero. 4 cheeses that, in their authentic forms, have deep culinary traditions. What you get in the bag is a heavily processed, cellulose-coated version of those cheeses assembled at industrial scale with no meaningful connection to the originals. When you use this cheese in a quesadilla, the potato starch creates a gummy, slightly sticky texture on the melt. That is not cheese, that is filler activating under heat. Number 3, Velveeta. Velveeta is not cheese. This is not an opinion. This is the FDA's finding. The product is officially classified as a pasteurized prepared cheese product, the lowest rung on the regulatory ladder. Velveeta's ingredients include modified food starch, sodium phosphate, and sorbic acid as a preservative. The brand markets itself on meltability, and it does melt perfectly because the food scientists engineered it specifically to do so, regardless of what it takes to achieve that result. The block has a shelf life, unopened, of up to 6 months without refrigeration. Real cheese does not do that. Real cheese is alive with microbial cultures that continue to develop and change. What sits on that shelf is a stabilized, preserved, engineered loaf with no meaningful biological activity. Read the fine print. It is all there. Number 4, Baby Bell Mini Cheeses, original. Baby Bell enjoys a health halo. The wax coating, the portion size, the European branding, it feels premium. And to its credit, Baby Bell Original is made from pasture-raised milk with a short ingredient list. But the product is a heavily processed, mild, standardized cheese with almost no complexity or culture diversity. More importantly, in 2022, parent company Bell Group faced scrutiny in Europe over its sustainability claims and supply chain transparency. The issue is not toxicity. The issue is that you are paying a significant premium for branding. The same nutritional profile is available in dozens of real block cheeses for a fraction of the per ounce cost. The wax coating is marketing. The cheese inside is ordinary. Number 5, most store brand sharp cheddar blocks. This one is subtle but important. Sharp. Cheddar has no legal definition under FDA standards. A cheese company can label any cheddar as sharp regardless of age and time, flavor development, or quality of milk used. This is the legal loophole in its purest form. Most store brand sharp cheddars are aged for 60 to 90 days, the minimum required to be called cheddar at all. True sharp cheddar develops its flavor profile over 12 to 18 months minimum. Flip the block, look for an age statement. If there is no age statement, the ingredient list tells a different story than the word sharp on the front label does. The kitchen test. You can audit your own refrigerator right now with one simple test. Take any block cheese. Set a small cube on a plate at room temperature for 15 minutes. Real cheese will begin to sweat a small amount of whey and develop a slightly oily sheen, and as the fat softens. Processed cheese product will become slightly pliable but maintain a rubbery, uniform surface with no separation. Now, grate a small amount of each. Real cheese grates into distinct, slightly irregular shreds that clump naturally due to fat content. Heavily treated cheese grates into uniform, dry, perfectly separated shreds, a sign of cellulose or starch coating. Finally, check the melt. Heat both in a dry pan over medium heat. Real cheese melts unevenly, bubbles at the edges, and separates slightly. Processed cheese melts in a smooth, perfectly consistent sheet. That perfect melt is the result of emulsifying salts, not quality. Your kitchen is your laboratory. Use it. The real list, 4 that are actually cheese. Number 1, Tillamook aged sharp cheddar, medium sharp or extra sharp blocks. Tillamook is a farmer-owned cooperative based in Tillamook County, Oregon, that has been operating since 1909. The cooperative model means the farmers own the company and have a direct financial incentive to maintain milk quality because their own product is what goes into every block. The ingredient list on Tillamook's natural cheddar reads cultured milk, salt, enzymes. 3 ingredients. The extra sharp variety is aged for a minimum of 9 months. The sharp is aged for a minimum of 60 days, but sourced from higher fat, higher quality milk than the industry standard. The price per ounce is comparable to most major grocery brands, and in many regions it is the value play. because you are getting real cheese for the same price as engineered product. Number 2, Parmigiano Reggiano DOP certified. This is the gold standard. Parmigiano Reggiano is protected by European designation of origin law, meaning it can only be produced in a specific region of northern Italy using specific breeds of cow with a minimum aging of 12 months and a maximum moisture content enforced by a regulatory consortium. Every wheel is individually inspected. Failed wheels are branded and downgraded before they reach market. The ingredient list is 3 items: milk, salt, rennet. There is no Parmesan standard in the United States. Any domestic product can legally use that name. Flip the block. Look for the dotted rind that spells out Parmigiano Reggiano and the DOP seal. That rind is your authentication. Without it, you are buying a legal imitation. Number 3, Cabot. Seriously sharp cheddar. Cabot is another farmer-owned cooperative based in Vermont with a heritage going back to 1919. Their seriously sharp cheddar is aged for a minimum of 16 months. The ingredient list is identical to Tillamook's. Milk, cultures, salt, enzymes. No cellulose, no starch. No pharmaceutical mold inhibitors on the shreds. Cabot frequently places in the top rankings of American cheese competitions. It is widely available in major grocery chains across the eastern United States and increasingly nationwide. The per ounce cost sits comfortably below most imported European alternatives while delivering a genuine aged flavor profile that processed cheese products cannot replicate at any price. Number 4, Kerrygold aged cheddar. Kerrygold is an Irish dairy cooperative with a specific supply chain advantage. Irish dairy cows graze on grass for approximately 300 days per year. Grass-fed milk produces cheese with a measurably different fat composition, higher in conjugated linoleic acid, more complex in flavor, and with a deeper yellow color that comes from beta-carotene in the grass rather than from added dye. Flip the Kerrygold block. The ingredient list is milk, salt, starter cultures, rennet. 4 ingredients. The color is natural, the flavor depth is real. It is priced above domestic budget cheddars, but it is consistently one of the most affordable ways to access genuine grass-fed cheese at scale. The heritage behind it, Irish farming cooperatives with traceable supply chains, is not marketing. It is the origin story of why the product is better. Here is what the industry counts on. They count on you not flipping the package. They count on you trusting the word sharp or artisan or natural on the front label without reading what the ingredient list says on the back. They have spent millions of dollars designing packaging that communicates quality they have not earned. Your money is the vote. And every time you put a pasteurized processed cheese product in your cart next to a farmer-owned cooperative block with 3 ingredients, you are making a choice about what kind of food system you want to fund. The food industry will not tell you this. That is exactly why we will. Real cheese exists. It is on the same shelf. You just have to know how to read the label. Subscribe because you have the right to know the truth. There is a lot more of it.